Namaste everyone. Welcome to the Cārvāka podcast. This is your host Kushalmehra. All right, we're going to focus on another province in Canada. Usually, what we do is we tend to focus on Ontario a lot more because I am from Ontario, and I tend to follow Ontario a lot more than any other part of Canada. But today we're going to shift our focus from Ontario to British Columbia. So the Indian community, for those who don't know, they tend to stay largely in three cities in Canada. One is Mississauga, one is Brampton, and one is Surrey. Surrey being the original Khalistan of Canada. So we're gonna talk about British Columbia with a focus on Surrey. As you guys know, recently we've had 2-3 incidents that have happened in Surrey. The one that was covered the most on media in Canada and India was the shooting that happened on Caps Cafe. The video that I had shared on Twitter was by Sameer Kaushal, the gentleman we're going to be talking to today. Sameer is a journalist, independent journalist from Surrey, British Columbia, and he was the one who was reporting constantly. And then there was another shooting that recently happened that Sameer had again covered. So Sameer, kya haal hai? Welcome.
Thank you so much, Kushal. बहुत thank you मेरे को invite करने के लिए. And really, as you said, Surrey is, becoming a matter of concern day by day as far as the public safety is concerned. And people are scared. Yes, people are scared, but the things are normalizing. You know what is then interesting? It's normalizing now. When you say there has been a shooting at this place, they say, okay, another shooting? All right, no worries. So things are normalizing day by day. So people are getting habitual to this kind of news.
So let's start here. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your journey. Maybe nobody knows because you're coming on the podcast for the first time. So let's start there.
Perfect. So basically, I'm from Punjab. My journey starts from Punjab, from Ludhiana, and I was journalist over there for more than 2.5 decades. I was journalist in different newspapers, TV channels, and some other platforms. When I came here, I did some, odd jobs, but then again, I went into radio. Different radio stations. Radio stations here are working totally different from the perspective when we are comparing it with the Indian journalistic values or journalistic way. And the last assignment which I was having that was ended up not very good due to certain reasons. Then I started my own, podcast, even my own channel. So that's a news derby. You always endorse that. I really appreciate for that. And now I am just sitting with you, and we are covering the different events. Especially, my focus is to cater the North American and South Asian community of Indian and Pakistani descent. So they should know what is happening here because they are concerned for their countries, their politics, and the politics what is happening over here, because we have a lot of Indo-Canadian diaspora and Pakistan-Canadian diaspora. So they want to know the real factual information, what is happening over here. It should not be narratives fed by the governments.
So you know what? I just want to clarify this. Today, I will be saying a lot of things. So what comes out of my mouth should not be attributed to Sameer, and vice versa. I like Sameer's work, which is why I've called him on the podcast. But my views when it comes to this Canada-India problem are maybe acquired taste for many people, and people should not make a misconception that what I say can be attributed to Sameer. Sameer is an individual. He stands for his own views. I also want to say, and I know Sameer will not mention this, but Sameer has personally paid a deep price for standing up and speaking against extremism in Canada of all kinds. Sameer has been assaulted. Yes, he's one of the journalists who was assaulted by extremists. And Sameer doesn't like to talk about it. So I have mentioned it. When Sameer will like, "Kyo bol raha hai, magar?" It's very important. People should know that, you have to pay a physical price at times for speaking up.
That's perfectly all right, and it's in the news. It was in the news. It's still in the news. I'm still getting some kind of threats and certain other elements. They try to give me indirect threats. As far as the event which you were referring to, that was a visit Indian High Commissioner over here. He just joined as a High Commissioner in Canada, and he was visiting over here. And one of the organization, Indo-Canadian Forum, something like that, they invited the High Commissioner Sanjay Verma over here, and I was there to cover the event as a journalist. And the Khalistani extremists. Uh, uh, they blocked the area. They blocked the space. They were not letting anybody go inside. And surprisingly, at that time, the police of jurisdiction was Surrey RCMP. And Surrey RCMP, they, if I'm not wrong, they allegedly told the organizers that we can't give you or your guest security, so you have to cancel the event. And they cancelled. The High Commissioner, they told High Commissioner or their security personals to cancel the event. They canceled the event. But before that time, I was trying to go into that event. I was swarmed by not less than 100 people over there. They were masked up. They were having gloves on their hands. Like, it was like a organized kind of a gang, extremist gang, and that's their modus operandi. That they know how the laws, Canadian laws, work here, and they know how to allegedly abuse the law, and that's what they did on that day. And surprisingly, Surrey RCMP on that day, the constable, they pulled me out from the crowd. And they were and they told me at that time that you have to leave. We can't provide you security. Can you believe? And next day, everybody was saying, are you going to lodge a complaint against those extremist group? I said, to whom I'm going to lodge a complaint? Surrey RCMP was the prime witness of this whole event. They are the one who pulled me out from that crowd. And if they are, expecting me as a victim to go to them and narrate my story, that's like a big shame for any taxpayer. Big shame for any taxpayer. And now the police of jurisdiction is Surrey Police Service. Nothing has been changed. Again, I can understand police can't be everywhere or anywhere, and they don't have a magical wand that they're going to change everything. But they have to understand the way these extremists work, how they abuse the law, how they manipulate the law, I should say, and how they always, hide under the or the disguise as sometime under the religious values or religious names or something like that, and they always just get a clean chit from the authorities. And the most concerning part is our politicians. They are always concerned with the human values. They want to become a human champion. If something happened 14,000 kilometers away, they always release statements and statements and statements, but they never say a single word. Whatever happening over here, just 1.4 kilometers away from their constituency offices.
That is the sad part in this entire process, and this is why I wanted you to be here, because most people don't know Brampton is in the news all the time. And भाई ब्रैम्पटन का नाम अकेला क्यों खराब करे, सरी का भी करते ना तो actually Surrey is the centrifugal point, locus of this entire problem in Canada. People don't want to accept it, and it has nothing to do with the Indian community. Before people think this is a problem of crime, drugs, extortion rackets, threatening calls, and many other things that have been a pattern, and you've been reporting about it for a long time in Surrey, British Columbia. I also wanted to talk about one more issue where recently on your podcast you interviewed Jaspal Atwal. Now, for those who don't know, Jaspal Atwal is a gentleman who is now he claims he's an ex-Khalistani. He was a Khalistani at one point of time. He went to jail. He's the same guy who traveled with Trudeau that created a giant furor in 1718 during Trudeau's visit. Jaspal Atwal also, if I remember correctly, is the guy who attacked Ujjal Dosanjh. And he was on your podcast. He was talking about all these things. And then suddenly, the moment you release that podcast, your Twitter handle gets cancelled. What happened there?
See, that's that's another feather in my cap. So
छितर भी पड़े और cancel भी हुआ account.
I'll tell you. So the moment I, because that was a factual information as per claimed by Jaspal Atwal. He said that there's ISIs operatives are right now they are active in Surrey, British Columbia. And he gave all that information that how the drug money and drug racket has been associated with these extremist groups, and how they are getting the money, how their modus operandi was working, how they were religiously or emotionally, blackmailing or brainwashing the kids or the youth, youngsters, to go into this extremist ideology. So the moment I released this that podcast, within 2 hours, X sent me a message on my email that your account has been suspended due to authenticity of the content. So I was surprised that content was made in my studio on Canadian soil, and both of us, the interviewer or interviewee, we both were Canadian citizens. How can that not be authenticated? The moment I tried to do my research, I requested some of the, I should say, ethical hackers and some other fraternity people. They told me that the account has been mass reported by the extremist Khalistanis and some official handles from Karachi and New York. So I was surprised. I mean, what happened? I mean, am I so popular in Karachi now or Islamabad? I don't know. I never been to Pakistan. So my so so geographically, I'm maybe I'm wrong whether it's Islamabad or Karachi, but the person told me it was Karachi and New York. So we tried to approach them. We gave them all the information, whatever was required, and in less than 72 hours, my ex account was reinstated with all that the information. They do apologize for this, and they said it was wrongly suspended, and I'm thankful to the person who helped me out in that. Still now, every day, every now and then, I'm getting so many that kind of links, and everybody's from different angles. They just try to put some bugs or some other informations to stop the voice.
Yeah, it's a serious problem. I mean, there are multiple attempts being made to hack my X handle. Till now, they've not successfully managed it. And obviously, you should always have dual factor verification and all kinds of. If you are a journalist or you are a public person, you should always have dual factor verification and all kinds of tools to protect your X account. But now let's talk about Surrey. So you've recently reported another shooting that has happened beyond the Caps Cafe. So this entire thing, and uske pehle there was Mr. Sharma who jinke यहाँ भी shooting हुई थी. So give everybody a background of what exactly has started to unfold in Surrey, British Columbia. Since when did you start seeing the patterns of this gang-related violence? And the gangs are now enmeshed with all kinds of things. They use not all cases are Khalistani extremism. Before somebody thinks that it is all Khalistani extremism, sometimes they use Khalistan as a cover. And so now I'm gonna maybe take some time, take 5-10 minutes, but explain this whole thing in detail. What the hell is happening in Surrey, British Columbia?
See, Surrey is always because Surrey is the second largest populous city in British Columbia, and we are going to surpass the Vancouver as far as the population is concerned. I think within less than 5 years or so. That's what the calculations are. That was the right now the city is saying, and Surrey is growing. Surrey is growing at a tremendous stage. We have one of the biggest trucking industry over here. So many new big companies are coming, but at the same time, we have so much, different issues, like a public safety issue, then homelessness, then drugs issues. Same like any metropolitan city of Canada, like Brampton or Vancouver or Toronto. So in Surrey, it was from, if we say, from last 3 decades or 3 to 4 decades. There are so many gangs, those who are operating here, but those gangs were very small gangs. They were operating just to get their, jurisdiction, just to sell the drugs, or sometimes just to get the name and fame. So that's how this all fiasco started. But now uh, it is all going under organized crime. I recently had a podcast with the CFSU spokesperson. CFSU is Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit. That is a unit which is having approximately a dozen different police agencies working together. More than 400 police officers are working in that, and their mandate is to dismantle the organized network, the crime network in British Columbia. So technically, there are 5 or 6 big groups, big gangs, those who are operating here, and they have their own ways to hire, the gangsters or new kids from the schools or from other places, and some are having their relatives in that, and some, they just have different kind of backgrounds. And it's not just only the people with the Indian descent. There are certain other people as well. But as far as I said, it is organized group now, and we have seen that a guy who has been caught in US recently, he was having his ties with the Mexican cartels, with Italian cartels. So those cartels are operating here directly or indirectly in Surrey as well, and they are paying a very big amount. They are luring the youngsters to go into this, gang life. And it's not just only the boys. There are so many girls going into the gangs for different reasons. So as far as I remember, if I go, like, because I can tell you stories from last 15 years or 20 years, but I'll go just 5 years back. 5 years back, approximately in 2020, if I'm not wrong, there were 2 youngsters, 16-year-old Jaskaran Singh Bhangal and Jaskaran Singh Jhutti. Uh, those teenagers, they were just 16-year-old. They've been murdered by another gang. That was a revenge. So at that time, the community, they woke up and they did rallies. And at that time, this a debate started that we don't want Surrey RCMP in the city. We need new police. It all started there. So that's why I'm just taking you just 5 years back. So at that time, there was a notion that RCMP, as a federal agency, they were not answerable to the local municipality, not to the mayor of the city of Surrey. They were answerable to the feds. They were answerable to in Ottawa. And that's why the community was saying at that time, or the group who was, taking all these processions and organized all this, call to change the police. They were saying we need our own police. At that time, it all started, and just last year, now the police has been changed. Now it's Surrey Police Service. Approximately same number of police officers, just the uniform is changed and their cars are changed. That's all. Otherwise, nothing has been changed. Every day, every week, there are shootings happening, murders, groping incidents. They are happening here. So quite like the third world countries, crime, now we are seeing here as well. And I don't know whether police is incompetent, or why they are asking public to come forward and give the information. I'm surprised from last 2 years, when Justin Trudeau, he stood up in the parliament and he claimed that he was having a credible allegations. If I'm not wrong, credible allegations, or he never said credible evidence. He said credible allegations, I think, that Indian agents are behind the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. The community was divided. There was a silent majority. They were having a different kind of opinion on that. Everybody was, condemning the murder of any Canadian or Canadian soil, or any human being on Canadian soil that was there. But at the same time, there was a notion that because before that there was a report by CSIS, our Canadian Security Intelligence Service, that China is infiltrating in Canadian, you know, diaspora or in Canadian politics. That there was a report that 11 member of parliamentarians has been allegedly, compromised with some kind of information, maybe economically or some other kind of ways, which never came out. Who were those 11 parliamentarians? So everything was going and focused on China. But that one moment when Mr. Justin Trudeau, he stood up in the parliament, everything focused on to India. And at that time, there were groups who were saying that even India is interfering in Canadian politics, and they are trying to influence in the Canadian politics or to the Canadian politicians. So the things changed, and the vocal groups, there are certain extremist groups as well. They were just pushing this narrative that changed the whole of the scene from China to India. So I was surprised at that time that now nobody's talking about China. Nobody asked about where are those 5 police stations, which RCMP said that they are operating on Canadian soil. The Chinese police stations operating on Canadian soils. What happened to those? Nobody asked for that. 11 member of parliamentarians, those who have been allegedly compromised, where are they? Even Jagmeet Singh, when he was the leader of NDP, he said there are traitors in the allegedly in the parliament, but he never named them. So many things were going like this. And now from last 2-3 years, there's a new thing that there are extortion calls are coming. It all started with one letter. There was some specific media personalities, they were showing those letters. They were starting with Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. If you are not paying this much of amount, we are going to come to, we're going to find you, we're going to come to you, we're going to kill you, blah, 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 this kind of statement. And just only one letter. And that particular letter was, distributed to different news outlets over here. Nobody came to know where from that letter came, who wrote that letter, what was the context of that letter, or whether that letter was authenticated or not. So that the current scenario or the current scene which we are discussing right now, the extortion and shootings and murders, started from there. So now everything is now look the camera, how the camera pans. So from China to India, from India to foreign interference, from Indian agents killing the Canadian on Canadian soil to interfering into the Canadian politics. Now a letter has been distributed. Then there was shooting on different business owners, arsons, demanding for money or demanding for the extortion. Then now it's all Lawrence Bishnoi. There's a name, Lawrence Bishnoi. Let me tell you one thing. British Columbia's Premier, Honorable David Eby, is one of those politicians who call for Lawrence Bishnoi as a designated terrorist, who want the the federal government to designate the Lawrence Bishnoi's name or his gang as a terrorist organization. It's same with the Surrey's mayor. It's same with certain other politicians. But when I interviewed CFSU's spokesperson, she told me that in British Columbia or in their database, there is no investigation under the name of Lawrence Bishnoi or any of his gang. And even she told me that the people or the gangs they have arrested, they haven't have any kind of ties or any links related to Lawrence Bishnoi. I'm not giving Lawrence Bishnoi any clean chit. If Lawrence Bishnoi has done something here, it is a matter of great concern. His, any active members or any person who is related to Lawrence Bishnoi or any gangster, whosoever is, should be put behind the bars. So why is police wasting the resource, and everything is just over the media, and everything is just like a statement from the politicians, but nothing has been happening. So as far as the Mr. Satwinder Sharma's case is concerned, he was a businessman in Surrey, a very prominent Hindu voice. Two people, they just came, and within a few seconds, they killed him. Same is happening with the Lakshmi Narayan Mandir's president, Satish Kumar. His three business has been targeted. Uh, right now, he's under his private security. He hired private security to save his, life. Same is happening with certain other people as well. There are trucking industry, the people with the trucking industry, they were so scared with this fact that they have received calls, and at same modus operandi, same kind of scripts, and same kind of threats. The police is trying their level best to get hold on to those criminals, but we don't know how it's going to go. Uh, but there's so much. It's a murky water. We don't have information under the Privacy Act. Police is not giving the information. They because what they claim, or what their side of story is, we don't want to jeopardize the investigation. But people want to know what is happening. Who is the real culprit? If we have the active gangsters roaming around in the city, and they are just they're still calling the businessman, and they are going like within few minutes or within few hours to the uh, uh, to short the businesses, or to murder people. I mean, how they can live in the city? It's a terrible condition. People are scared, people are concerned, and they are having huge expectations from their politicians, those who are mum on the issue. They are just going to the different forums. Again, everything is, it seems like a blame game. Now you have a name, you are just blaming a name, you're just blaming a individual or a gang, but you're not doing anything on your own soil. Why we are not catching the criminals? Why we are not putting them behind the bars? So there are so many questions, Kushal, which people are asking us, and they are not. I mean, no one is giving them answers.
I want to back you up on this one, and I want to share some news bits to back you up. This is India Today, a story that was published all the way back on in 2024. This was last updated on October 17th, 2024. This was by Vivek Kumar. All right. When Justin Trudeau had given the name of Lawrence Bishnoi, way before Justin Trudeau used the name of Lawrence Bishnoi, this is a direct quote. We informed Canada about the Lawrence Bishnoi gang and its syndicates and requested their provisional arrest and extradition some years back and also recently. However, there has been no response from Canada so far. This is a direct quote from the Ministry of External Affairs, India, that clearly stated that India has been regularly requesting the Canadians to send back all these requests. Goldie Brar has been on an extradition request list for ages from India to Canada, and they refuse to send him. You know what the Canadians say? They do not give sufficient evidence.
You know, Goldie Brar, Satwinder Singh alias Goldie Brar, he was on the top 25 most wanted list. He was on the top 25 most wanted list in for RCMP few years back, and his one big cutout has been released by RCMP, the feds, the federal police, that he was one of those 25 most wanted individuals which RCMP was looking for from last 2 or 3 years. Nobody told where he is, or where he was, or where he went, and he's not on top 25 list anymore, the top 25 most wanted list anymore. I mean, this is surprising fact that nobody's giving information. So one day they are saying that this person is most wanted, another day that person is not in the list. People are asking questions, where is that person? Goldie Brar. Now nobody knows about it, whether he's here, whether he's in US, whether he's back to India, whether he's in Nigeria, we don't know.
Look at the case of the Kapil Sharma cafe shooting. It's a fascinating case. That guy is in Germany. That Khalistani gangster and Khalistani both. He's like double trouble. That guy is in Germany. Kapil Sharma is in India. The cafe is in Surrey, British Columbia. It is a trifecta of bullshit. And the shooting happens in British Columbia for something allegedly said on his show in Mumbai, where the recording happens. And the guy in Germany takes offense and tries to do it. And this Lawrence Bishnoi angle is the most fascinating angle. David Eby started the Shagufa, then John Rustat jumped on the bandwagon, then Patrick Brown, the mayor of Brampton, jumped on the bandwagon. Now the latest person jumping on the bandwagon is the premier of British Columbia, not British Columbia, Alberta, Daniel Smith. All these people said Lawrence Bishnoi gang should be designated a terrorist organization. Forget the definitional issues aside. I say let's do it. Let's do it. Will these people write a small letter to the Prime Minister of Canada, Carney, telling him to instruct the RCMP and CSIS ki bhai, why do we need this 20-30 odd gangsters living in Canada? What tax contribution are they making to Canada? What are they paying a GST on their extortion? That is way more than the GST paid by businesses in Canada, honest, hardworking businesses in Canada. And my biggest problem is, and again, I want to back you up. This is a detailed report that was just published on the 15th of July by veteran Canadian journalist Kim Bolan, somebody we respect a lot. All of us respect Kim a lot. And this is a Surrey gangster that rises to alleged international drug kingpin. So this gangster is Upinder Siah. And look at this. मतलब ये कहाँ आदमी है? ये तो मतलब Irish organized crime, the Kinahan family, Italian organized crime, and other Canadian organized crime. ये सबके साथ है. मतलब हद होती है यार. मतलब man is like, he is an international gangster. सबको ले रहा है भाई हमारा. सबके साथ काम कर रहे हैं. And you know what the best thing is? That if you talk about anything, Khalistan, we are oppressed. ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਧੱਕਾ ਹੋਇਆ, ਇਹ ਕਰਤਾ ਭਾਰਤ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, ਉਹ ਕਰਤਾ ਭਾਰਤ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ. ਯਾਰ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਅੱਛੀ ਸਕੀਮ ਹੈ.
The interesting part that whenever there is a police release for any gangster, whenever they catch a gangster or a group of gangsters, they always say that they had police, they had an interaction with police. But what kind of interaction they had? They never told you. The guy was known to police, but at what capacity he was known to police? They never give you any information. So the things are not that transparent when we are saying that we are living in a developed country. And though I have a huge respect for our intelligence community, our law enforcement officers, those who are going out. See, the problem is not with the police officers or the zeal of police officers. The issue is with the laws that they are, or the politicians especially. They don't have that zeal, or maybe they don't know how to deal with this. That's the bitter part. So people are having expectations. People are trying to hold them accountable. You can, the latest example is the Canadian federal elections. Nobody gets any kind of majority. It's same in British Columbia. Nobody gets a humongous majority. People are putting them on toes, but still they are not understanding that people have expectations. People are paying their taxes. They want their government to work for them. But the things which are going right now, it's not going in the right direction. That's what I can say. I mean, yes, there are certain other issues from south of the border. The US president is pushing us into a different corner as far as the tariffs are concerned. We are dealing with drug overdose. There are so many deaths because of the drug overdose. We have a problem with fentanyl. We have a problem with housing. We have a problem with homelessness. We have a problem with so many other issues. But this problem, when people are directly, threatened, they get extorted. There've been murders, and it's not stopping. This is a big concern. This is really a big concern for a big city.
Now I want to share a photo for all our viewers. So, so let's share this photo. Okay. So this is the photo. Now people might ask me who this gentleman is. So let me start. Okay, from the very left. Now the very left is Paramjit Sanghera. Then there is Sodagar Sandhu. There is Bhupender Sandhu. Then there is Pari Dule. Basically, Pari Dule is the guy who's on the no-fly list. Parupkar Singh. You can Google articles, बड़े मिलेंगे आप लोगों को. Then there is obviously ex-RCMP Sergeant Gary Begg, the current Solicitor General of British Columbia, who is asked to stop crime and drug trade. Now I want to do this. Okay, everybody who's looking at this photo, ये photo देख रहे हो ना सब लोग, जो ये मैंने नाम बोले मैं repeat कर रहा हूँ. Okay, everybody, चलो थोड़ी investigation करो. Who is Paramjit Sanghera? Who is Sodagar Sandhu? Who is Bhupender Sandhu? And who is Parupkar Pari Dule? ये है ना, ladies and gentlemen, ये थोड़ी investigation करना आप लोग, and just tell me what you find after that investigation. Do you find some interesting links between Khalistan, drugs, RCMP? Jara dhundna.
Kushal, I want to clear one thing that Mr. Gary Begg, he's not Solicitor General anymore. Yesterday,
It just got changed.
he's been demoted to parliamentary secretary position. He was Solicitor General and Public Safety Minister. I don't know where from you get this picture, but I think this picture, which I can see very clearly, I think this was during his elections, if I'm not wrong, and he was our public safety minister. He was ex RCMP senior officer. But yesterday, in David Eby's cabinet reshuffle, he's been demoted to parliamentary secretary. So I don't know what was the reason for that, whether that was a routine reshuffle or there was some reason. Maybe, I don't know, an information for now. But we're trying to dig the information. We will definitely get back on News Derby. Maybe we're going to share on your podcast next time as well.
You remember this photo? ये तो बड़ी इंटरनेट पे घूमी थी जगमीत की. ये पैरी है ना?
Yes.
ये जगमीत की, इसके साथ बड़ी फोटो घूमी हुई है ये इंटरनेट पे. तो यू नो आइसक्रीम कौन सी खा रहा है वो नहीं समझ पड़ा. मतलब मेरे को तो सिर्फ उसी में इंटरेस्ट था. So you know, for those who don't know, Sodagar Sandhu and his son Bhupender, these were the people who actually led the protest march on 19th March 2023 against Sanjay Verma, the Indian High Commissioner. These are the same people who had done this. And, you know, they are very interesting people, these people. Then, obviously, who was that? Amarjeet Hundal. He was, you know, a supporter of the Kisan Andolan. Then, obviously, Bhupinder Hundal is the manager of Global TV. उनके बारे में भी बड़ी बड़ी चीजें मालूम है. ये बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग लोग हैं. मैं कुछ बोल नहीं रहा हूँ, बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग लोग हैं. बस मैं इतना बोल रहा हूँ आपको. अब जाके ढूंढो इनके बारे में, थोड़ा सा गूगल सर्च करो. आप जब गूगल सर्च करोगे ना, मजे की बात ये होती है कि these people are so unabashedly open. They're so unabashed. You don't have to do anything. They share it themselves. So you just have to go Google name and बस पता चल जाता है लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या नहीं कर रहे हैं. It is very interesting. You know, they don't even, like, the level of brazenness in Canada. I have not seen this level of brazenness even when underworld was at its peak in Mumbai. हमारा मुंबई का underworld थोड़ा शर्म करता था. ये लोग नहीं करते हैं.
You know, I'm surprised क्योंकि जो वो the one Sanjay Verma वाला you were telling ना कि Sanjay Verma High Commissioner India के when he was here and there was a protest. I'm not sure whether the names you are saying they were at protest or not. I know Hardeep Singh Nijjar was there. There were some other people, those were there. But I never saw these faces at the protest, to be honest with you. But yes, if you have some information, definitely you are saying with that conviction. Yes, Perry Dule, I know that gentleman, and he was on a no-fly list. I'm not sure the current scenario, but I think there is no update on that list still. And he is, or maybe he was, and he is a good friend of Jagmeet Singh, the former NDP leader. And he's having good ties over here with the community as well on different levels. And yes, as you said, you can Google and you can find so many articles and informations about these individuals. Yes.
And for those who think that the farmers protest supporter is fake, well, this is quite clear. He supports the farmer protests. He's right there. He's supporting the farmers protest.
I think as far as farmer protest is concerned,
I got no problems.
Yeah, because there was a big community over here. They were, supporting the farmers' protest. Farmer protest was supported by a big number of community members, and there were people, those who were trying to take the advantage of this protest to, divide the community. So that was the concern at that time. It was not supporting the farmers' protest, because the people, those who are here, they have their background from farming, and they have their emotional ties with the geographical nature of Punjab, or because the information which they were getting about the farm bills, they were concerned with that. But yes, that.
What has the Canadian got to do with Indian law?
Can you repeat it? Sorry, I just missed your point.
Canadian got to do with Indian law. Canadians love to talk about foreign interference. साला तुमको क्या करना है इंडिया में क्या हो रहा है उससे? तुम अपना देश देखो ना.
देखो, I'm going to raise my point on this issue कि it's not only कि अगर हम कैनेडियन बन गए तो हम इंडिया छोड़ देंगे. भाई साहब, I'm a proud Canadian with Indian descent. My family members are still living there. My friends are living there. So my concerns are still with Canada, first Canada, then India. But yes, we do have concerns with India. We have expectations from Indian politicians, Indian agencies, and Indian diaspora as well. We have people-to-people relation.
Then the Canadian government has no locus standi telling the Indian government about foreign interference. I will show you active tweets, okay, of Canadian members of parliament, active tweets. By the way, I think they have not deleted those tweets till now. These shameless people that talk about foreign interference, और इनको मैं बदतमीज बेहुदा लोग ही बोलूंगा, क्योंकि इनको शर्म नहीं आती है, बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं ये लोग, बड़े पॉलिटिशियन बने फिर रहे हैं. I am sharing these tweets. Why are Canadian members of parliament so interested in Indians? This is Randeep. 18 मार्च 2023 को इसने शेयर किया था. अभी तक लिंक हाइपर लिंक्ड है. This is Arpan Khanna. This is Tim Uppal. This is Jasraj Hallan. All on the same day. We are very concerned about India. ओ भाई ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਲੈਣਾ ਦੇਣਾ? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ ਵੇਖੋ ਨਾ. ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ?
The moment you said कि अपनी politics देखो, they were अपनी politics ही देख रहे हैं भाई. ये politics ही है. Why don't you understand? This is the politics. They are, if they have been, let me tell you one thing. Sanjay Verma की बात सुनो. Sanjay Verma was the High Commissioner. अभी नए बने. He came here. भाई साहब, जिस दिन ये protest हुआ, और जो बंदा ये कह रहा है कि फॉरेन इंटरफेरेंस एंड ऐसे हो रहा है और उसकी दोबारा से इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए, सारी चीजें, वो खुद एमपी संजय वर्मा के साथ लंच करके गया 3 घंटे पहले उस प्रोटेस्ट से. आई मीन, दिस इज द पॉलिटिक्स ना. पीपल डोंट, लोगों को ये नहीं पता कि भाई साहब 5 बजे वो प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है जिसमें संजय वर्मा की एंट्री बैन हो रही है, और 2 बजे उसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी का एमपी खाना खा के गया. I mean, look at the seriousness.
I won't take the name of the former High Commissioner, one of the former High Commissioners who I had met in India in my capacity as a social commentator. I don't call myself a journalist, I call myself a social commentator. And we were discussing Canada, and that High Commissioner told me how all these people that I have named, he has met over lunches and dinners, and how all they, off the record, they claim how they use the Khalistan movement as a vote bank because they think it gets them votes because these Khalistani supporters in Canada might be small in number, but they are very politically charged. So हमको जिता देते हैं.
तो भाई साहब, as you said के इनको क्या लेना देना इंडिया की politics and why they are interfering? Because of that interference, they are on upper edge in their politics. आप एक चीज को देखिए ना कि उस this is the fodder for them. अभी जाएंगे भी वहां पे, घूमेंगे भी वहां पे, स्टेट गेस्ट भी बनेंगे, सिक्योरिटी भी लेंगे, लेकिन गाली भी निकालेंगे भाई, गाली भी निकालेंगे.
See, my problem is the lack of consistency in the discourse. When the Prime Minister of Canada accuses India of foreign interference, he should have some consistency. And this entire foreign interference saga in Canada is the most immature, irrational thing. Obviously, countries will speak about each other. Obviously, countries will also snoop on each other. The Americans were bugging the German Chancellor's office for years, and she did not even know about it. Angela Merkel's office was being bugged by the Americans. America तो अपने ally को नहीं बख्शता, तो दूसरे को तो बहुत दूर की बात है. In Canada and India's case, they are not allies, they are not enemies, but Canada does have elements that want to harm India, and India would naturally keep a close eye on them, and vice versa. Canada is always going to keep a close eye. I mean, I have allegedly heard that the only job of the Chandigarh consulate was snooping on India. I've heard this many times from people on both sides of the aisle, off the record. They keep telling me how the Chandigarh consulate's only job was snooping on India. And that's fine. I don't care. I think snooping on each other is part and parcel of global geopolitics, and countries should be more mature. But the problem with the Canadian argument is foreign interference is the mode of all evil. Oh my God, countries are interested in Canada. Well, then Canada should isolate itself from the world, cut the internet, don't allow anybody to watch any news outside India, shut down everything, and then you see. It's ridiculous. Canadian politicians are naive and immature is the problem in this entire episode.
See, you can't see news feed on Facebook here in Canada, if you know that. और क्या चाहिए बताओ, और क्या करवाएं? न्यूज़ there is no news, you can't see news. कोई न्यूज़ चैनल आप लगा के देखो फेसबुक के ऊपर.
Yeah, you cannot.
You're not going to see. तो भाई सब ट्रांसपेरेंसी कहाँ है? And let me tell you one thing. As far as this is playing with the people's emotion. Once again, I'm going to take you back to the farmers' protest. भाई फार्मिंग छोड़ के लोग यहाँ पे आए, लोगों की अभी भी वहां पे फार्मिंग की जमीन पड़ी है, बहुत सारे लोगों की. They are concerned with so many things. किसी के भाई के पास उसकी जमीन पड़ी है, किसी के रिश्तेदारों के पास वहां पे उनकी एग्रीकल्चर की लैंड पड़ी है. कंसर्न होना कोई बुरी बात नहीं है. And they are not doing any kind of interference. The people are not doing any kind of interference. It is just a small group, but that group is a vocal group. That group is the extremist group. Those who are trying to push the narratives into this line कि भाई interference हो रही. और लोग नहीं बोलते. जो silent majority people are silent. They don't have to do anything. Let me tell you one thing. अभी थोड़े दिन पहले यहाँ पे एक religious body है पंजाब से ही, वो भी आके गए हैं. I'll tell you. Sometimes अभी पीछे उनका एक controversy भी चली. He is a Sikh gentleman और उनके बहुत सारे followers हैं पंजाब में. कई लोग उनको अच्छा बोलते हैं, कई लोग उनको बुरा बोलते हैं, कई किस तरह से देखते हैं कि किस तरह से देखते हैं. लेकिन वो भी अभी 2 हफ्ते पहले यहाँ पे आए थे. भाई साहब, उनको मिलने के लिए इतने लोग गए, आई कांट टेल यू. लेकिन द बेस्ट पार्ट इज पीआर. उसकी पीआर ने एक बंदे की वीडियो बनाई. वो सारी वीडियो यूट्यूब पे अपलोड है. जितनी फैमिलीज मिलने गई, जितने लोग मिलने गए, कौन सी वो गाड़ी होती है जिसमें से वो चिड़िया बाहर आती है, रोल्स रॉयस। रोल्स रॉयस में उनको वैंकूवर एयरपोर्ट से रिसीव किया गया, साथ में जी वैगन्स लगी हुई थी, साथ में और बड़ी बड़ी गाड़ियां थी, उनको लेके वो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट जगह पे गए, उनको अपने बिजनेसेस दिखाए। एंड वंस अगेन आई एम नॉट अगेंस्ट दैट, आई एम वेरी हैप्पी कि ऐसे आना चाहिए, देखना चाहिए, पता लगे कि आपके फॉलोअर्स कहाँ कहाँ पे हैं, क्या वो कर रहे हैं। लेकिन वो सारी साइलेंट मेजोरिटी है भाई साहब। क्योंकि मैं क्यों साइलेंट मेजोरिटी उनको कह रहा हूं, उन लोगों को आप कभी एक्सट्रीमिस्ट ग्रुप्स के साथ नहीं देखोगे,
कभी नहीं,
लेकिन वो इनके खिलाफ भी नहीं बोलेंगे। क्यों? बेटर नोन टू देम। क्योंकि जो वोकल है भाई साहब, अगर एक जर्नलिस्ट को वो घेर सकते हैं इस तरह से शरेआम पुलिस के सामने, मेरे जो जानने वाले हैं, चाहने वाले हैं, वो कहते हैं कि भाई साहब आप वॉक करने जाते हो, अपना रूट चेंज किया करो, यू नेवर नो कब आपके पीछे कौन लगाओ। जब आप निकलो तो फैमिली को थोड़ा सा सेफ रख के निकलो, रात को जाते हो ध्यान से जाओ। When I was working in रेडियो स्टेशन अर्ली इन द मॉर्निंग, मेरे को ये कहा जा रहा था कि भाई साहब आप जब बाहर निकलते हो तो सबसे पहले अपनी कार के आसपास देखो कि कोई है तो नहीं, कार के नीचे तो नहीं कोई चीज लगाई हुई। एक, आप मानो या ना मानो, एक एक लेवल तो ऐसा पैदा कर दिया जाता है ना, एक माहौल जिसमें आपको हमेशा लगता है कि देयर इज समबडी बिहाइंड यू। एंड आई एम अ जर्नलिस्ट, आई एम गोइंग टू स्पीक आउट। मैं तो जो सच है उसके बारे में बात करूंगा। जब गलती होगी उसको मानूंगा भी कि हाँ भाई यहाँ पे आके कोई कंटेंट गलत हुआ, फैक्चुअली हम रॉन्ग थे, उसको करेक्ट करेंगे, उसको ओन करेंगे। बट एज फार एज द ट्रूथ इज कंसर्न, हम उसको भी लेके आएंगे। फैक्ट्स आर ऑलवेज सेक्रेड। दैट वाज द फर्स्ट क्लास जब मैं मास कम्युनिकेशन में गया, हमारे प्रोफेसर ने कहा था फैक्ट्स आर सेक्रेड, यू कैन नॉट टच द फैक्ट्स। लेकिन आम लोग जो बिजनेस कर रहा है भाई साहब, वो क्यों बोलेगा एक वोकल एक्सट्रीमिस्ट ग्रुप के खिलाफ? उसको अपना बिजनेस बंद कराना है। कुछ लोगों ने बोला था, उनके बाहर वो डंडे लेके पहुंच गए। डंडे, आई मीन टू से, झंडे थे, लेकिन झंडों में इतने इतने मोटे डंडे थे। तो वो नहीं आएंगे, वो नहीं बोलेंगे। तो मेरे कहने का ये मतलब है कि जब हम लोग या कोई भी ऐसे कहता है कि जो फार्मर प्रोटेस्ट के हक में बोल रहा है कि वो इंटरफेरेंस कर रहा है, मैं वहां पे आता हूं कि जो साइलेंट मेजोरिटी है, सॉरी, वो कंसर्न हो सकते हैं कुछ इश्यूज के लिए, बट आई थिंक एज फार एज इंडियन गवर्नमेंट इज कंसर्न, उनको भी रिकंसिलिएशन के लिए देयर हैज टू बी सम काइंड ऑफ कमिटीज, देयर शुड बी सम काइंड ऑफ ग्रुप्स। और कुछ हैं ऐसे जो इंडिया और कनाडा के डियास्पोरा को मिलाने की कोशिश में रहते हैं, कुछ अच्छा हो, कुछ बढ़िया हो, जो टाइज है वो ना टूटे। अब देखिए, सीसीपी की सबसे ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट वो इंडिया में हुई है। इंडिया, जो कनाडा के बहुत बड़े बड़े बिजनेसमैन है, कई, उनकी बहुत बड़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट इंडिया में है, डिफरेंट सिटीज में। सरी के कुछ बिजनेसमैन है, मेरे बिजनेसमैन है जो मेरे वाकिफकार है, किसी की बेंगलोर में है, किसी की दिल्ली में है। बड़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट है, बड़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट है। उनको वहां पे इंटरेस्ट भी है, उनको ट्रस्ट भी है इंडिया के साथ, प्यार भी है। तो ये बात ऐसे ही हर एक डायस्पोरा के साथ होता है। पाकिस्तान की डायस्पोरा का अपने कंसर्न्स हैं, उनकी अपनी सोच है, वहां पे डिफरेंट तरह की डिवाइड चलती है। लेकिन हमारी कम्युनिटी, क्योंकि एक बड़ी कम्युनिटी है, हमारी कम्युनिटी इन्फ्लुएंशियल कम्युनिटी है, और लेट मी टेल यू कि अभी तक जिस तरह की चीजें चल रही थी, लोगों को जिस तरह से फीड किया जा रहा था, वो चीजें टूट रही हैं बिकॉज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया। बिकॉज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया अभी भी लोग बाहर नहीं आएंगे। डोंट एक्सपेक्ट पीपल टू कम आउट एंड स्टैंड in front of or in favor of any government. They are not going to come out. They have their, so much in their plates. They have to deal with their rents. They have to deal with their mortgages. They have to deal with their education of their kids. They have to deal with their healthcare infrastructure. And if we are expecting them to come out and stand for other country, I don't think it's fair. The other country has to take the stand. They have to ensure that there should be reconciliation if one or two or three groups are, having some kind of concerns, or if they are saying any, or if they are expecting something from Indian government, they should come forward and they should having a open discussion, open forums. But yes, if there's going to be open forum, who's going to provide them security? Again, there's a question mark, because if again the police gonna say that we can't provide you security, then we are in limbo. Any comments?
You know what the fascinating bit is? I don't know if people remember the attack on
So
Rishi
one
Nagar. I don't know how many of you remember this attack on Rishi Nagar. He was a Canadian journalist from Calgary. And I want to show this, like how many people remember this, like the price one has to pay for becoming a journalist in Canada. How many remember this? How many of you? This was last year, if I remember correctly. Look at what happens to Rishi Nagar here. This is all the CCTV footage that was shared by journalist V. Look at what is happening here. Why all Rishi Nagar had done was just say, there, why? This was all that extortion related bit that Rishi had spoken about on his radio show, and he was brutally attacked. And this gentleman was one of the attackers, as shared by journalist V over here. This gentleman was one of the attackers of Rishi Nagar. This one of the two attackers on radio journalist Rishi Nagar in Calgary, identified as Khalistani extremist Jaswinder Singh Grewal. Singh recently participated in an event organized by the SFJ group at Calgary City Hall, glorifying the Air India bomber Talvinder Parmar. This is the cost you have to pay. So Sameer is right. This is the cost you have to pay for just reporting in Canada. यार ये सब हम लोग ने ना इंडिया में सुना था 80s में. आई एम अ मुंबई किड. 80s में हमारे यहाँ पे गैंग्स बहुत एक्टिव होते थे. मिड 80s, late 90s, early 90s में, till the home minister of the state of Maharashtra said Ata Maji Satakli, and everybody was basically, in fact there were a lot of police excesses also under that time, because बाद में तो पुलिस को तो ऐसी खुली छूट मिल गई, सबको ठोकेगा भाई तेरा राजू. So police was going around tapcoing everyone also. So that was also the extreme case. But the point is, we know the cost. I know horrific stories in Punjab. My own family migrated out of Punjab. Members of my family, because they were threatened by Khalistanis that hum tumko kidnap kar lenge. Ask multiple families, Hindu and Sikh, that suddenly why they moved to Chandigarh and Panchkula and Mohali. Chandigarh, Panchkula especially, that region, suddenly in the late 80s and 90s. And they will, in a very hushed way, because they have absorbed the trauma and gotten over it. All those families. And we are recreating that rubbish here in Canada. We are trying to recreate extortion rackets here in Canada in a so-called. And my biggest problem, this is my last question to you, Sameer, before we wrap today's discussion. In my recent discussion with Terry on India Today, Terry Milevsky, a veteran Canadian journalist, everybody in Canada respects Terry. And Terry has no love for, any side. He's just an objective journalist who just looks at things and reports. I may not agree with a lot of conclusions of Terry at times, but I think I respect him a lot. Terry raised a very interesting point to me and to all the other panelists and Gaurav Samant, who was hosting the show, that what is happening right now in this entire immigration racket and extortion racket that's happening in Canada, it reminded him of the Kanishka bombing, where the then Prime Minister Mulroney called Rajiv Gandhi saying sorry, as if it was an Indian tragedy when it was a Canadian tragedy. That is point number one. He's like, if the same thing is happening when brown skinned journalists are being beaten up, whether it's you, Rishi, and many others, whether it's extortion calls made to brown South Asian businesses, it is again being typecasted as a brown on brown violence. So it is not a Canadian issue in the larger Canadian zeitgeist. These were Terry's insinuations and conclusions, not mine. And you know what? It shook me to my core. That are we doing the same mistake again in Canada? What are your views?
You said you born and raised up in Maharashtra, and there was a big gangs operating at that time. I'm from Punjab. We have seen the militancy. We have seen the terrorism over there. So it's not new for us over here as well. So as far as we Punjabis are concerned, we are not scared as well. I mean, when approximately 100 people, they swarmed me around and they were using abusive language, they were swearing. I said, I know all these abusive words, whatever you are saying. My voice is louder than yours. I can say the same thing. But those things apart, yes, these are Canadian issues. These are Canadian problems. Whether somebody is trying to play this narrative, brown versus brown or brown against brown, whatever you say, it is a Canadian problem and Canadians have to deal with it. They have to have deal with it. There's no exception. We have police agencies here. We have a lot of funding here. We have our politicians here. And these concerns, these threats are being made to Canadians, taxpayers. And yes, it is a Canadian problem, and people they should know, they should understand that लोग इनको बहुत घुमाने की कोशिश करेंगे, but they should look for other alternatives than the traditional media, those who are just feeding them one type of information, which is being fed through a different kind of strategies. Said the people, those who are sitting somewhere else, and they have their own agendas. So agenda free reporting, independent reporting, they should listen to that, and they should come out as well. And as in your top chat, I'm hearing so many people are asking questions and so many people are saying so many things. People should raise their voice. People should raise their voice on Twitter, on YouTube, on different social media platforms. They should ask questions. They should send emails to their constituents. That's the beauty of Canada. That you just find their, go to Google and find their email and send them your emails with your concerns to your MPs and your MLAs. At least there should be a record for that. That at least you ask for your safety, for your security, and for the concern which your community is facing right now. And yes, these are Canadian concerns, Kushal, and I am definitely looking it as a Canadian problems, not as any foreign problems.
Couldn't agree more. And I just want to remind people, last I checked in my geography lesson, Surrey, British Columbia is a part of Canada. Brampton and Mississauga in Ontario, or Scarborough in Ontario, they are a part of Canada. If you don't want to look at their concerns as Canadian concerns, then declare them an independent Khalistan. Maybe that will help you guys. Because if they are part of Canada, then the Canadian political class. Now I'm glad that the person who threatened Patrick Brown got caught. I'm really happy, and I mean this with all sincerity. Before somebody misunderstands me, I'm not being facetious over here. I'm dead serious. I'm glad that jackass who threatened Patrick got caught. Patrick has blocked me on Twitter, but that doesn't mean I carry any ill will personally to Patrick. I'm not a fan, because I think he is playing footsie with all the bad elements, which is not good for Canada. But the point is that, Patrick's alleged people who threatened Patrick got caught. But the guy who Tahir Gora spoke about in my podcast, who was a realtor, who got a call in Punjabi, $5 lakh de de, his will not get caught. The jewelers in Mississauga who get threats that paise de do will not get caught. I can show you photos outside jewelry stores. उनके वहां है ना बाहर special yellow boulders लगाए जाते हैं आजकल. Why? You know why? Somebody explained that to me. You can't ram the car in and smash the door open and take it and steal it. That's why they put it specially. This is ridiculous. This should not be happening. And you go to the cops, everybody keeps playing passing the parson. You go to X, they send to Y. Y will send to Z. Z will send to A. RCMP has its own thing. OPP has its own thing. Then Peel Police will have its own thing. Then Surrey Police will have its own thing. Then Surrey Police will say this is a special gangs unit problem. Then some special gangs unit will say, "Nahi, another problem hai." It's ridiculous. Yeah, right now the communities in these areas sound like Sunny Deol of that movie Ghayal. वो तारीख पे तारीख, तारीख पे तारीख, तारीख पे तारीख. बस अभी सनी देओल के जैसे हथौड़ा मारना ही रह गया हमारा. It is reaching ridiculous proportions. The reason I wanted guys like Sameer to come and talk to you guys openly is this is what the cost it is for just reporting the truth in Canada. This is the cost one has to pay. Ye hai. But the solution is not us staying silent. The solution is only what Sameer spoke about, speaking more and more and more. That's the only solution to this. Because we want, why should Kapil Sharma not invest 15-20 million dollars in Canada? वो वैसे ही जॉब्स नहीं है, उसके भी वहां जाकर गोली मार दी, सालो जॉब ही नहीं मिले हमारे बच्चों को या किसी के भी बच्चों को इधर. So it's crazy. But Sameer, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No, you wanted to make a point?
Oh yeah. You know, एक interesting बात मैं बताना चाहता हूँ. There was an extortionist in somewhere in Brampton, if I'm not wrong. उसको पुलिस ने पकड़ लिया. उसकी कुछ तस्वीरें आई पुलिस के क्रूजर में. He was in police cruiser, and there was a photo shoot of him. I interviewed him when I was working in a radio station. He was on bail. I asked him, I said, do you have pictures with the mayor and some other dignitaries over there, and you are not scared that now you are booked under extortion cases? You know what he said to me? It was on air. It was on air, and hundreds and thousands people were listening in Punjabi. He said, Paji, ये बहुत वधिया काम है, तुसी भी कर लो. He said, Paji, ye bahut, I mean, brother, it's really a good work. You should do this as well. The extortionist, alleged extortionist, I should say. He said online over the radio when I interviewed him.
A clip
from the east side. I'm not sure, but I do have his number. I'm going to send you. And you're going to say once again, I mean, that's not a problem for you. That's going to be your content.
It's ridiculous.
So no. See, there's no respect for the law. That is the bad part. As far as you said, whether Surrey and Brampton, they are still in Canada. They are part of Canada. They will be part of Canada. No one can take that from Canada, whether it's Donald Trump or these small fringe minority groups.
Well, once again, Sameer, thank you very much for everything you do. I wish you nothing but happiness and success in life, and keep doing it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your platform as well.
So, guys, before we wrap up, once again, Sameer's X handle and Sameer's YouTube channel, News Derby, both the links are there in the description of the podcast. Go follow him on X and subscribe to his YouTube channel, News Derby, on YouTube if you've not till now. As far as Cārvāka podcast is concerned, this podcast runs only on donations. I don't even touch ad reads. The reason is because this is why I'm fearless. No corporate can call me and say, I sponsor you. I will pull the rug if you talk about controversial things, because I will show them the biggest middle finger on planet Earth. And I got a pretty big middle finger. So keep supporting the Cārvāka podcast. If you want to send your donations, use Interac Canada. The email ID is kushalmehra81@gmail.com. If you want to send it from India, the UPI ID is kushalmehra@icici. If you join the monthly membership program, you get even more content other than this, over and above this content. If you can't do anything, just like this channel, leave a comment in the comment section. And if you are an honest Canadian journalist who is an aspiring journalist, learn a lesson that the solution to this problem is not staying silent. The solution to this problem is constantly speaking up all the time. That's all we're supposed to do. We keep talking about this, whether it's Khalistan or any kind of extremist activity. These people do not define what we are as a country or as our identity. So keep doing the good work. Keep watching the Cārvāka podcast. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, namaste. Take care. Bye.